Hey, I'm Connor Ruth. I play football at Tennessee State University, and this is No Playbook Podcast.
Hey, thanks for checking out the show. It's the podcast featuring the outstanding athletes, coaches, and experts from East Tennessee. This episode is sponsored by Loco Burro, Tex-Mex Cantina, and Tequila Bars at Westtown Mall. So this week, October 7th through 13th, it's Teacher Appreciation Week at Loco Burro. So it's actually for all school staff members. Just show your school's badge, proving that you're an employee. You'll get 20% off at Loco Burro this week only. Goodness, at Westtown Mall. Show is also sponsored by Stinnett Collision. On the podcast today is Connor Ruth, a football player from Knoxville Catholic, who's now at Tennessee State. He joins me to talk about his recruiting experience, and he gives some tips that might be helpful for other players in the area that are hoping to play sports at the next level. I'll get to Connor Ruth right after this. Sit tight.
Hi, I'm Zach Stinnett, third-generation owner of Stinnett Collision. As a proud supporter of Tennessee athletics, we know that every game counts. When a collision puts you out of play, we're here to get you back in the game. Family-owned since 1965, Stinnett Collision now has locations in Maryville and Sevierville. With double the space and a team of certified technicians, we'll tackle your repairs and get you back on the road in no time. Don't let a collision sideline you. Visit Stinnett Collision today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you go back often?
Now, no, but over the summer, I went back a few times over the weekends. And then we had a little break before fall camp. I went home then. That was the last time I've been home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how's freshman season going so far at Tennessee State?
It's been great. I got here, when was it, end of May? I've just been going ever since then. But we had workouts over the summer and then fall camp. Fall camp went pretty well. And then had our first game last week, so that was big.
You guys whipped up on them too, didn't you?
Yeah, they weren't very good.
Yeah.
We
Did you
played
get
pretty
any
good,
playing
but
time?
yeah, I played most of the game on special teams, so it was
Nice.
surreal to play in first college game that like his dream about. So I was very grateful for that.
So I guess since you've been there since May, you can talk about just the summer, the preseason training. Like, how does that differ from being in a place like Knox Catholic?
I'd say the biggest difference is the intensity. Like the workouts over the summer, they're hard, they're very intense, and then the conditioning. But then fall camps all day. It's from 6, 7 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. every day for 3 weeks. So, but I think Catholic did a great job of simulating what they could with that. We still had intense practices, but it wasn't like all day thing. So it did help me a lot going to Catholic, but you can't really prepare for the all day affair here. So
I'm just realizing I've got a heavy Catholic day on the podcast later today. So I think you're the one that suggested I speak to Jaden Neal.
yeah,
So I had him on, and then this evening I've got Mac Bartholomew.
okay. I haven't met him. He just got to Catholic this year, I think. So I
Yeah,
haven't
so I
got to meet
guess
him yet. But yeah,
so Jaden is still injured, is that right?
I think he played a little bit last week. I think he's slowly starting to come back,
Oh, got it.
which is
Got it.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm interested to hear from Mac what it's like being a kid. You just moved from Nashville, I think, to Knoxville, and then immediately getting thrown in, having to fill in for Jaden right away.
Yeah. That'd be a
So,
cool episode to see.
what about your recruiting experience? That's one of my favorite things to hear about on the show is just kind of how do people end up where they do. So, kind of what led you to choosing Tennessee State?
So for me, I didn't have a million offers like you see some guys have, which is the case for most kids. And so I just kept working. And then it was during the season last year they offered me. I came on a few visits and I liked it, but I was getting recruited by a lot of Ivy League schools, so I thought I was going to end up there. And then none of the schools ever ended up giving me an official offer. So the more I came here, the more I loved it. And then I had my official visit over the winter and just knew this is where I was meant to be.
Was it the recruiting experience? Was it one where you had to even seek out coaches from Tennessee State? Are you constantly through emails or other communication platforms trying to get in front of them, or are they reaching out to you?
It all started think it's my junior year. One of the recruiting coordinators invited me to a spring game, and then when I went there, I met all the coaches, and then we just talked ever since. So I did reach out to a lot of coaches, but I didn't necessarily reach out to coaches here. It just kind of happened.
Well, that's great. You're having fun though so far, right?
Oh yeah, it's been amazing. Can't complain.
Now, this episode will be released after the game, but I want to hear about coming up weekend. I mean, you're an East Tennessee boy, right?
Yeah,
And you're heading to Fargo to
yeah,
play or to go to State University, which is kind of a powerhouse, right?
yeah. They've won like 15 national championships the last 20 years or something like that.
Yeah. How do you
But
prepare? Like what goes in this week as you're prepping to head up there?
obviously we have to make a big jump from last week, but we just got to do our thing and stay disciplined. They're a very disciplined team, so we can't really have any mental errors or stuff like that if we want to win. So it's really just doing what we do and staying disciplined, and we should go up there and surprise some people.
I'm glad you're getting to play them in September and not like
Yeah,
November.
they do have a dome, so I don't know how that works, but
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I was happy about
Well,
that too. That we're not playing them later this year.
Um, it's obviously a different state, but I've been watching Yellowstone a lot lately. And that's kind of that part of the country. Have you watched that show?
No, I haven't. I've heard
Oh,
about it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it.
that's a good one. Um, so there are so many folks, young athletes that, as you mentioned, you hear a lot about the guys that are the 4 and 5 star kids that are choosing between Alabama, Ohio State, Tennessee. But there's so many athletes that are considering, Carson Newman, uh, Tennessee State, schools like this, Gardner Webb. Um, what advice would you give to any athlete that might even have their sights set on something like that? They're wanting to continue their athletic career into college. Um, Anybody that might be listening, like a student, do you have anything that you would pass along?
For me, you have to have good grades because if you're on the edge of getting recruited or not, and they see you have bad grades, they're gonna look past you immediately. They don't care. And another thing is just to keep working, do your thing. A lot of people compare themselves to other guys and what offers they have. So you just gotta focus on yourself and do the work, and it'll pay off.
I know that's such a tough thing, and bad news for you, Connor. That doesn't comparing yourself to others doesn't get easier as you get older, but it's something
No,
that everybody experiences that, comparing yourself,
yeah,
and it's just something if you can find a way to just compare yourself to your own goals, that you'll be a lot better off.
yeah, because you scroll on Twitter and all you see is all these offers that every kid's getting, and now a lot of those offers they're getting offered, but they don't end up going to those schools because those schools offer a bunch of guys and can only take so many. So
I like the story. I don't know if you remember this from several years ago where a kid completely faked an offer.
I've seen that, yeah.
I think it was to Cal, and it turns out they were like, "Wait, we've never heard of this guy."
And he ended up getting a bunch of offers from that.
Oh,
His
I don't think I heard that part. That part's cool, I
coaches
guess.
coaches saw him get the offer. And they're like, "Yeah, we need to offer this kid," but it was like a fake offer. So yeah,
Um, what's something very few people know about you?
I'm really good at art. I can draw
Oh,
pretty well. Yeah.
now you talk about getting recruited by Ivy League schools. Is that like a smart kid thing? Art?
Um, I don't know. Ever since I was little, I just would draw. My older brother's good at art too, so I don't know if that has any correlation or not. But I just in my free time sometimes I just draw like people. I used to customize shoes too, so I
Oh,
would I
that's
would do
cool.
that too. Yeah.
Dude, one of the things I was really impressed, a girl I had, she's a track athlete at ETSU. I had her on the show not long ago, and I saw for the Olympics, somehow she got a gig where they flew her to Paris. She was making custom shoes for like Simone Biles.
Oh, you're talking
And
about Mary Oakley?
yeah, you know her?
Yeah, she went to Catholic. I know her.
That's right. She did go to Catholic. That
Yeah,
was a really cool thing. I was so impressed when I saw she was doing that.
that was cool. Those shoes were really cool too. I've seen some other people, like other schools and colleges and stuff, have gotten those too from her. So
Yeah, yeah. And I just think it because like my oldest son, he's in the ninth grade, and he is a million times smarter than I ever was, and he's a phenomenal artist. And I'm like, I think just your brain works different because
Yeah.
I draw a picture and it looks like, did you do that with your left hand? It doesn't look good at all.
Yeah. Some people can draw, some people can't. It's just, I guess it just happens.
Yeah. So, something you may know, everybody gets on the show. What is one unforgettable sports memory for you? Let's
Mm.
do both as a spectator and as an athlete.
As a spectator, it's got to be when Tennessee beat Alabama. Because my dad played football there, and so I grew up at Neyland Stadium going to games. And then when we finally beat Alabama, it was like it didn't feel real at first, but that was really cool.
What's your dad's name?
Rodney Ruth,
Okay. When did he play at Tennessee?
he played back in '91 and '92, I think. He also ran track there, so
That's exciting.
yeah, big
Yeah.
athlete.
Now, how about as an athlete?
Mm, I would say last year we beat Father Ryan, beat him pretty bad in the first round of the playoffs. That was the first win in that division in school history, so that was a big game. And then the week after that, we played MUS, and I was super sick that game. I had like 104 fever, and we made the trip to Memphis and still played. And we ended up hitting a game-winning field goal and beat them. That was just crazy. It was nice. After the game was over, I could finally just sit down. And yeah,
That's
those are
cool.
two huge games last year. Yeah.
What about with you, like extra training? Do you go like the extra mile? Did you ever, when you were in high school, train at a place like D1 or even Triple F?
I went to D1 a few times for rehab, like physical therapy. Had some hamstring issues, and then I trained with Lee Smith and Coach Bowman. I don't know if you know him.
Mhm.
He's a receiver coach. We do trainings not every weekend, but we'd be in there a lot working. And trying to think what else. I played 7-on-7 a little bit with
Yeah.
Penny Smith. I don't know if you know him. He's a big trainer in Knoxville. So
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, he did a combine at D1 not too long, a couple years ago.
yeah,
Kind of
they're
brought.
great guys. Yeah.
So what is your next, I guess, immediate goal? Like if you have a long list of football goals, is it like just get on the field for um, defense, get on the field for uh, more playing time? Is it anything specific like that?
Yeah, well now I'm playing tight end actually,
Oh,
which
okay.
was which was not surprising, but I mostly played defense throughout high school, so something new. But my next goal is obviously to get on the field on offense, make an impact, help the team out.
Yeah. How was that transition moving from linebacker to tight end?
Well, I grew up playing receiver, tight end. I played tight end last year a little bit. So I mean, there are a lot of things that I'm getting used to, like the blocking side. I'm more comfortable running routes and catching, but still got to get better at blocking. But
Yeah.
it's been a smooth transition. They're great coaches and stuff. So
Do you have like a tight end idol, like an NFL player that you're like, I want to emulate my game after that guy?
probably Travis Kelsey. You see him
Yeah.
catching all the passes and stuff, and making plays in the blocking game. So like most kids' answers are either Travis Kelsey or George Kittle nowadays. So
Yeah, I'd love for Kittle to have a full season though.
yeah, he's always getting hurt, taking shots.
It's funny though, you can have such a great career as a blocking tight end too.
Yeah.
Those guys are kind of unsung heroes, but they are, really well much appreciated on the teams, I guess.
Oh yeah, I watched that receiver documentary on Netflix, and he was in it. So it was cool seeing the behind the scenes look on him.
Do you have an NFL team you support?
Not really. I'm more of a college guy, honestly. I
Yeah.
don't really watch the NFL unless it's playoffs or Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have a
Um,
team?
yeah, I'm a Panthers guy, and we were obviously great in like 2015, but there's a guy, Tommy Tremble, on the team. A lot of people don't even know who that is, but he's like known as one of the best blocking tight ends in the league. but he rarely gets a pass thrown his way. But he came out of Notre Dame and just focuses on being a great blocker, and it does great things. So do you guys have any? Is North Dakota State the biggest, toughest opponent on your schedule this year?
Yeah, I mean, all of our conference games are going to be tough games, but that's definitely the best team we'll play this year, unless
Excellent.
the teams we play in the playoffs.
Right. Excellent, man. Thank you so much. Sorry about the time confusion.
No, you're good. I should have reminded or thought
No,
of it.
you're good. Like, where is this guy? Oh, wait. And then we're messaging like, oh yeah, it's it's 9 o'clock there. So
I was sitting in class and you're like, "We good for 10?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm available at 10." And then when you were like, I logged off, I was like, "Yeah, I'm on Central Time." That's what it
that's
is.
what it is. All right, dude.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again so much. I'll put this together, have it out in a few weeks. Okay.
Thank you. Sounds
See
great.
you, Connor. Later, man.